Hello and welcome to the OCVarsity Gridiron Show. I am your host, Jonathan Khamis, being joined by Steve Fryer and Dan Albano, and we're going to start it off right away. Week 4, we're talking about the game of the week, Servite visiting Mater Dei. This game is Saturday night at Santa Ana Stadium. The last time these two teams met, Servite fell to Mater Dei 56-11. I think it'll probably be closer this year. Servite's last win over Mater Dei came back in 2011. So the Friars are hungry and thirsty to get back another win there. Steve, I'll go to you first. Servite, they had a pretty good game with Bosco going, Steve. They fell 38-28, but they were leading at half, and Fafita was golden as usual. Steve, can the Friars finally hang up a W against Mater Dei Saturday night?
Well, they can, but one thing they're going to have to do is get Teddy Arroyo, McMillan, T-Mac going a little earlier than they did against Bosco. He had 0 catches in the first half, wound up with 8 all in the second half. Defense played really well. Nick Jaco led a really good defensive effort. And it was great to see Houston Thomas, Coach Troy Thomas' son, get in the end zone. They could play with Mater Dei, but, sort of like Bosco, Mater Dei seems to have skill all over the gosh darn field. And that was Bosco's talent level finally went out at the end of that game. Could happen this game. But, Servite's going to battle. They're going to represent themselves really well. Can Servite win this game? Yes, but the logical pick is you got to go with Mater Dei in this one.
Okay, Dan, I'll ask you for your prediction as well. But what did Mater Dei do last week? Well, they running clocked Orange Lutheran 49-7. And how good has their freshman Elijah Brown been? 4 touchdowns passing, Dan. Can Servite pick up a win against another Trinity League juggernaut or try to? Dan, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think the pick is for Mater Dei. I think Servite is closing the gap between these the powerhouses of Mater Dei and St. John Bosco. Elijah Brown has been outstanding, but I'm looking at that ground attack is going to be key for Mater Dei. They ran it well against Orange Lutheran last week. The Servite defense did give up 301 yards rushing to St. John Bosco last week, so that's a concern. And I think protecting Elijah is going to be important too, because of how strong that that Servite defense. They put some pressure on St. John Bosco in that first half, and Mater Dei is going to have to protect Elijah. And they allowed 1 sack last week against Orange Lutheran, none the previous week against Orange Lutheran. So, and then with Mater Dei, the defense has just been lights out. But this is a whole different level that they're facing against Servite. So this will be the first true test for the Mater Dei defense, which is supposed to advertised as one of the best in the state.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this matchup. It's going to be awesome. I'll be there. It's going to be, I think, a really tremendous game. All right, let's go to the South Coast League. The South Coast League play opens up with 2-0 San Juan Hills taking on 2-0 San Clemente. Some are calling this the Battle of La Plata. That's a street over there. I don't know how well that will pick up. Steve, we'll go to you first. This is the first time these two teams have ever met as South Coast League opponents. They did not play last season back in 2019. The keynote here, Robert Frith, who's head coach at San Juan Hills, was an assistant to Jaime Ortiz in San Clemente for 2 years, and they have never met and never played against each other as head coaches. Steve, San Clemente picked up a win against Aliso Niguel, 41-7. You're talking Tritons. What's up there in Triton Town?
Well, the new quarterback over the junior, Lachlan Van Rosmellen, he's doing pretty well, for a first-year guy over there. Surrounded by really good talent with James Bowles at running back. The BYU signed tight end, Bentley Redden. Gosh, San Clemente turns out great tight ends year after year after year. And on the defensive side of things, Rylan Swarthen, defensive tackle, also plays offensive tackle, had another great game for the Tritons too. And to add to his fantastic last couple of weeks, Ryland was homecoming king. So it just can't get better for that young man. I like San Clemente's chances to win this game. San Juan Hills got a really good team, the returning quarterback, Hudson Jones. Danny's going to be talking about those guys, but I think I got to go with the Tritons in this game, guys.
Shout out to Ryland, super well-spoken on media day, homecoming king, football player for the Tritons. What more do you want from him? Awesome job, Rylan. All right, Dan, let's talk San Juan Hills. Last week, they defeated Capistrano Valley 52-41. Quarterback Hudson Jones continues his solid play with 4 touchdown passes, all to Cole Monick. All right. And the running back, Braden Burns, had a great game with 3 touchdowns as well. Dan, would you consider this an upset if San Juan Hills were to beat San Clemente on the road?
Yeah, rankings wise, for sure. Because San Clemente is higher ranked. And you remember, San Juan Hills, while a CIF champion last year, they played in the Seaview League. And this is, they're stepping up against a team that's been in the South Coast League just a little bit longer. So, yes, it would be an upset. And I think the revelation has been Braden Burns, filling that gap at running back. He's, young man's up to almost 300 yards rushing in his first 2 games. And this has all the makings, I think, of an offensive shootout. I think both these teams scored a lot of points against Capo Valley, that common opponent. So this could be a high-scoring game. We'll see who can make more defensive stop. I'm picking San Clemente, but I think San Juan Hills is coming in with a lot of momentum. And, both these offenses are pretty balanced, I think, potentially. So this could be a great game.
Mr. Burns, excellence for you Simpsons fans out there. All right, our final game we will talk about will be Foothill taking on Yorba Linda in the Crestview League opener. Foothill's 3-0, Yorba 2-1. Last season, Foothill beat Yorba Linda 14-7, but Yorba Linda beat Foothill 4 years consecutively prior to that loss. Steve, we're talking Foothill and the Knights. They beat El Dorado 14-6. Quarterback Joey Garcia had a touchdown pass. And don't forget about probably their best player, Roman Pistone. Steve, what do you have for the Knights?
Well, I saw Foothill beat Tustin a couple of weeks ago. Foothill looked pretty slick, and it's sort of, a little further along than I expected, with all the delay in the first game, et cetera, like that. Roman Pistone, man, one of my favorite guys watch play football. 5'7", 162. He's a tough dude, and he does everything. Returns kicks, runs the football, catches it coming out of the backfield. Fantastic player. Joey Garcia, very steady quarterback for them. I think Dan and I might disagree on this because I think our rankings and our assessment of Foothill is a little bit different. Kind of a coin toss game for me. I may figure this out later on, but right now I really like Foothill's chance to win this football game, guys.
Okay, Dan, what do you think of this matchup, Foothill versus Yorba? Steve said you disagreed with him. What's going on?
I do indeed disagree with Mr. Fryer. Doesn't happen too often, but I do, because I think this game sets up for Yorba Linda. It's a battle of ground attacks. I like how Yorba Linda has responded since losing to Newport Harbor. They've been lights out in defense the last 2 weeks. And I think, this is the game they like to play, a little smash mouth football, good running back duel in this game. And some red flags went up for me last week with Foothill. Credit to El Dorado, but that was a eye-popping score, 14-6. I thought Foothill would definitely handle them better. So I think Foothill, I think Yorba Linda knows what it needs to do to execute in this game. They're going to have to take care of turnovers, win the line of scrimmage. Yorba Linda's winning these kind of games, and I think they're going to get the W and, trying to defend that Crestview League title.
Okay, well, that's going to do it for the OCVarsity Gridiron Week 4. Our thanks to Steve Fryer and Dan Albano. I'm your host, Jonathan Khamis, and make sure to check us out on Twitter, on Instagram, on OCVarsity. I mean, we got you covered everywhere, right, Steve?
I believe so.
And that's good enough for me.